Hello! Welcome again. I'm excited that you joined me for a second haul video. Hopefully this one will go a little smoother. It's still new to this, but thank you for watching. This one is a big one. I don't know if you guys take advantage of your thrift stores. If you do, then you can kind of understand how there's an array of items that end up, not just books or games. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that and enjoy. Thank you so much. All right, so to start with, I'm just gonna go through some of the things that aren't necessarily books, but are still curriculum related, because I have a first grader, a third grader. We still have a lot of hands-on things. And of course, when I saw Pig from Mo Williams' books, had to grab him. Of course, my littlest one will love him. We are doing Charlotte's Web this year again. And when I saw this little guy, I thought he would be perfect to have along, to kind of have in the reading chair with my third grader as he's reading. I mentioned in the previous video that my oldest really likes to work on the Brain Quest questions. This is a 7th grade set. He's going into 6th grade, but he likes to do older grade things as well. So when I saw this set at the thrift store, I thought, I'll grab that one for him. One of the big topics we are covering this year are America's involvements in the world wars. And I'm going to be having him do different shadow box type things, or like make a set, if you will. And so you have to have some little toy soldiers to kind of set up that thing. This is really smart, right? That thing. The diorama. That's the word. I need more coffee. I should probably have like a little cup next to me while I'm doing this. I picked up this calculator because we don't have any of the science grade ones, any of the upper mathematics. We just have your basic one. And frankly, if I need a calculator, I'm going to use my phone. So when I saw this one, it's a fairly expensive calculator, and it was only $1.99 at Goodwill. Works perfectly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I grabbed that for my 6th grader. We do a lot of hands-on sensory bins. Sometimes I'll set up a display of things, and I saw these numbers and I thought they would really be cute and nice visuals, especially for my first grader. Again, with the sensory bins, I found these Christmas tree cookie cutters. We do a lot of Play-Doh clay, things like that. So that'll be what that's for. Again, I'm trying to get all the stuff that's not books out of the way. To go along with the sensory. Now these ones I'm a little bit more hesitant. I'm actually going to be making my own gingerbread this year. Molasses cookies, but gingerbread I think that these are specifically for. So I'm gonna try it. We'll see how that goes. Set those carefully over there. Okay. One of the games that I picked up, we have a very inexpensive version of it. It's called Close the Box. And what you do is you take the dice that's in here and you roll it. And whatever the number is, you have to try to find what makes up that number. Either it's, let's say it's 8, then you've got to put down the 6 and 2. You could put down the 4. You could put down the 7 and 1. The whole point is to try to get down as many of these tabs as possible so you can close the box. So that's a real fun one. I found they had so many of them, but at $5 a piece, I had to pick out the best one that I thought would fit with what we're going to be doing this year. I mentioned in the previous video that my 6th grader is going to be working primarily on the American history from 1865 to present. We did not get into pioneers, the gold rush as much as I wanted to the latter part of this year, so we're going to kind of put that in with it. But this is a soap making kit, and we did candles before. I thought maybe we could, you know, try our hand at making some soap. They had to make their own supplies when they were out there. So for $4.98, this is like a $30 kit that you mail in and get. I think it's, what is it, the Doodle Crate? Yeah, Queuing Company Doodle Crate. So if we could afford it, I absolutely would invest in these monthly subscription boxes, but finding them brand new in the box at thrift stores at a cheaper price, that's kind of what we're gonna do. As I'd also mentioned, we're gonna be working a lot more on geography, specifically the United States. This puzzle was just something that we don't have a puzzle of the United States. And this is really cool because the pieces are actually shaped like the states that they are. And I grabbed that. There's so many books in front of me right now. My 6th grader has gotten really into puzzles. My 3rd grader already is like a puzzleaholic. So I just decided when I saw that this one, I love Mud Puppy. Mud Puppy? Crocodile Creek. This is Crocodile Creek. But Mud Puppy is another brand to keep your eyes out for. Puzzles are really sturdy. The pieces fit together very nicely. They're not like bendy. So this one, watch out, watch out. And I'd never heard of this game. I kind of prided myself on knowing a lot of the entertainment that the colonies used for kids. Apparently this game has been around since the 1700s. John Locke recommended the use of alphabet dice so that children may be cozened into the knowledge of letters without perceiving it to be anything but sport. You roll the dice and you come up with words. There's 8 dice in here, and it's kind of the predecessor to Wordle, I think. It's the word of the game. Boggle. Sorry, the Boggle. I love that game too, and I messed up the word. So there's just a couple other things over here we're gonna be for our plant this year. We have a classroom plant every year. Our succulent made it for 3 years, and I'm surprised it lasted that long, as often as we forgot to water the poor thing. But we're gonna try our hand at a spider plant, which is hanging up in the corner of the classroom right now. Speaking of which, I need to water it. If you guys have, you know, anything tips that you can recommend on keeping your classroom plants alive, let me know. Comment below. I continuously forget to water the poor things. Okay, so moving on to the books. There's no rhyme or reason to this stack at all. There's a smattering of different topics that I'm just going to reach for the book and we're going to get into it. So the first one is History Year by Year. I love these books. We have a handful of the other Smithsonian timeline books, but I hadn't seen this one before. So this one is going to be really great because I have a binder that in a next, in another video, I will show you where you write in the timeline. And I thought this would be really handy to have next to that binder so that if the kids have any questions or they're like, well, what happened in this year? We can look it up. Fill out the binder. Oh my God, there's so many books. Okay. Picked up the Dot. Thankful. Looking for material for my 3rd grader to read. He loves things like Steven Universe. He loves Gravity Falls. This kind of falls in the line of that show, Gravity Falls. It's not about it or related to it in any way, shape, or form, but it's very similar content, that kind of humor. This one is for my 6th grader. It's actually about middle school students, so I'm excited for him to look into this one. We have the first one. Y'all, I found this at the thrift store for $1. $1. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about Susan Weisbauer. Love her history books. This is awesome. I was so excited to find it. She persisted. What can you see at night? Now this one is a little kitty. I know thankfully, my kindergartner who just walked past the door, He's not a kindergartner anymore. He's my first grader now. He's above this reading level, but he still loves to have interactive books. So things with these cutouts or things that fold up. He's really in love with those kinds of books too. So, oh, I forgot about these. These are just storybooks. So there's a couple of these that they had where the lines are nice and big. They don't have the middle line on there to help differentiate between lowercase and tall words, things like that. But for writing stories, if they want to just have a journal or something, these are super cute, and they were only $1.25. Thelma the Unicorn, which is crazy because when I was at Barnes & Noble, this was the book that if you purchased a children's book, you could get this one for $7.99. And I thought, I'm good for now. And then I found it, and it was 78 cents. So, yay. A Story for Small Bear. I Have a Dream. This one is so cute. Squirrels. I'm a nerd for the older books. I shouldn't say that, like in a bad way, because it's not a bad thing at all. But your older classic books, especially nature related, as long as the content isn't scientifically incorrect. But this is such a cute little story. Coming Home. Beaver at Long Pond. We're going to be doing a beaver unit study, and books on beavers are actually not very common, especially if they're telling a story and they're not just telling facts about beavers. One of my third graders' weeks of science is devoted to weather phenomenon. So when I saw this, I thought that this would be kind of a fun way to incorporate climate versus weather and natural disasters and things like that. This is another coloring book, Famous Friends. I saw this one, and while we are not a Waldorf-based homeschooling family, I am in love with Pepper and Pine and watching her videos and things that she does. This book, I believe, comes from that line where it's very story-based, but it's an alphabet book. The Gold Egg book. Claude and the Sun. We are going to be doing, an art study once a week. And I do want to incorporate some of the major artists out there. Major artists. That sounds so educated. But you know what I mean. Here's another older book. It's so cute. The Surprise Party. I'm a Caterpillar. Good Night Owl. And I think I have this book, but a big one, like from an actual classroom setting. So I was happy to find the smaller version of it in case I want to pass along the bigger one to a teacher who wants it or may need it. Little Bow. Celebrating Thanksgiving. This one I had to laugh. I had to get it because this is a song that I've been singing to my kids and it kind of annoys them. But it's The Hole in the Log in the Bottom of the Sea. Look it up if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to get into it now, but it's hilarious. Find Fergus, which is a really cute book. Ancient Egypt, ABC. That fell over. I Promise. And again, these are all from a thrift store. This one, oh, I'm so excited to have found this for $1. I'm sorry, I keep repeating that, but with the price of things nowadays, look, you can't even buy a good box of mac and cheese nowadays for $1. But this book is beautiful. If you are looking for a comprehensive book on trees, it's not super thick, with beautiful illustrations, the tree book. Get it. It's awesome. Here's another game that we've actually already played a number of times. My first grader loves matching games. I mentioned that in the previous video. We've already played this a couple of times. He loves it. It's a matching game on Candy by Ebu. Here's another older book, Big Puppy and Little Puppy. He loves that one. Again, with the art that we're going to be doing, I'm not an art teacher. I'm not a teacher in the professional sense of the word, but I have taught my kids for 5-6 years now. Art has not been a point of focus for us as strongly as I would like it to be, and especially all different forms of art. I have books on paintings and things like that, but this goes into sculptures and architecture. This is an actual school book that I think I remember using, but the questions are super engaging for little kids. So when I saw that, I knew that that's something that I would use as a teacher. Hoot Owl Hoot. This is another game that I picked up. A little young for our kids, but what I thought of doing was incorporating, before they draw a card and move to a color, I'm going to incorporate, we have kittens, and one of the kittens they're going after the cord. My husband came and got the cat. So as I was saying, where they move on to a color, before they can move to the color that they drew, I'll incorporate some math and flashcards and things like that. So there's always ways to adapt younger games for older kids. If it's moving on like dots and things like that, you can always make them question based, which makes the games go longer, which makes your dollar go longer. Let me think. Here's some Secret Stories, Revolutionary War, and then Fireworks, Picnics, and Flags, the stories behind those. Casey over there, this is a World War II story. I will be going through all of these books and cataloging them by subject into the weekly themes that each child has. So they're all out of order right now, but I've got my work cut out for me and I'll get it there. But this is a story for Harrison, as are these two. I found these two and I was excited because there aren't a lot of books out there on war for kids, obviously, that are stories. So when I saw these, I grabbed them. Ghosts of War. Let me rephrase that. There's not a lot that I know of. There are probably loads out there. And then Secret of Midway. Again, I have to do some research onto these to find out which wars they're for. I believe this one is World War II, and this one is the Vietnam War. We got Spirit Animals. Again, just like to have a collection of books on hand to expand their reading. Dragon Rider. Color Me Dark. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. I'm just picking up a book and showing you what we have. One eye laughing, the other weeping. Historical references. We watched this movie recently, and Harrison was very interested in it. So when I saw the book, I'm like, oh yeah, it might be a little over his head, but I think he would really enjoy it. The One and Only Ruby. Field Day from the Black Lagoon. The Owl Who is Afraid of the Dark. A Whale of the Wild. I was excited to find this one because this one was on the list of things to buy if I couldn't find it. Hoot. I found the first 4 of the 39 clues, which I've heard a lot of positive things about. If look, I'm going to be reading them too. But if your kids have read them and they like them, can you please comment below and let me know, how old not how old, but if it's good for the 9 to 12 range. I would appreciate some feedback on any of these books. If you have comments about any of these books, if your kid liked them or didn't like them, I'm interested in hearing, so comment below. Oh yeah, the USS Indianapolis, World War II. I escaped the world's deadliest shark attack. Again, obvious for World War II. Teen Titans Go! I am kind. I am helpful. I am thankful. These are all for my first grader. Last Kids on Earth, Zombie Parade. Cricket in Times Square, from the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankweiler. The Stubborn Pumpkin. Cam Jansen and the Snowy Day Mystery, The Ballad of Lucy Whipple, Wild Animals I Have Known. This one, I'm going to be reading some of them first, but it's a collection of small stories about animals, and I'd not heard of it, and for $1 I was like, you know what, that's good. This has all been accumulated over a year of going to thrift stores and looking for books. A lot of these were purchased by my mom to help us out, and I'm very grateful. So, oh look, so I had more than the first 4. I had the first 6. There's a couple more of the 39 Clues books. Little Bear's Friend, Little Chick's Breakfast, like I was saying, Gravity Falls, Night Creatures, Yorktown Civil War Siege. This one, again, is probably going to be more for me to read. I'm not going to lie, I love history, I love reading, and the two together just make material that I could read all day. So that's probably more for me. But because we live within the historic triangle, I'm not worried about that information being out there. There's a lot of things where if I recognize the place where I've read it, I can be like, hey, this is such and such happened here. So, Uni the Unicorn, is it Uni? Uni. Like unicorn? Uni the Unicorn? I don't know. Have to figure that out. Holes, this is one that I've got a teacher guide to go with it. And then after we do that, we're going to have like a little movie party, and I'm gonna start looking up some ideas, like food ideas, little snacks that are related to the movie and the book. Another Little Bear, Wonder, Brave Kids, True Stories from America's Past. This one, book 3, right? The Time Quake. I found this at our local DAV, and it looked really interesting. I looked it up on Amazon like I usually do, not to price check, but to look at the reviews. Let me tell you, the reviews are really good for this series. So I thought I'd pick this one up, and it is book 3, and if I could find the other 2, then I would get them. And that's in another haul. So I did get the first 2, so we're good. We have books 1, 2, and 3. It is a trilogy. So we got those. And I think the last couple things that we have here, it was a big bag of safari toys. And we do a lot of little displays, whether it's a biome, whether it's a habitat, whether we're just doing a theme like Arctic theme or something like that, or sensory bin. We use a lot of hands-on. Boys especially, I have found, like to do hands-on as much as possible, whether we want them to or not. So when I found a big bag of these, I thought, what the hey, I grabbed them. So thank you for sticking through that enormous thrift store haul. I have a few other things that I'll probably do a couple other videos later on, but that's that. And I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. We are getting geared up. I've been working on lesson plans. I can do a video based on that if you want. I use Erin Condren's teacher planners, and they're amazing. Yeah, so that's been my day. Thank you for watching again. Still super awkward and new to this, but I hope you have a wonderful day, and good luck with everything that you're doing, and come back to see any more content.